Okay, so we start on the questions. We'll try to get through quite a number tonight. So the first is how to cope with grief, shock, and trauma, both arising from human behavior and from events in nature. So the Buddhist approach to this has many aspects. Maybe the most basic is that we are not entitled to anything. In the last century in the West, we formulated many charters of universal human rights and so on. But it becomes obvious that the self-elected policemen who would enforce these rules are themselves often corrupt and deluded. Oh, the wild world. Uh, in the Buddhist tradition, not being external forces to make ourselves safe, but the nature of our body, speech, and mind, so that by producing good karma, we will be safe. Okay, so saying from the Buddhist point of view, how we manifest as ourselves depends on our the quality of our actions in previous lives. This can be very challenging for us because when we look around, we see that there is no rational sense of how happiness and sorrow are distributed. People can behave in a very perfect manner all their life, but still have very painful, difficult diseases. Other people can lie and cheat all their life and live till they're 90 and be very wealthy. Because the chain of causality goes back over many, many different lives. So we have to take a wider and a deeper view that all phenomena that arise have no substantial essence of their own. And so forest fires no doubt will rage throughout Europe and America in the summer. And then when people go back to their uh, village or town afterwards, some people's houses are completely destroyed and others are still standing. This is the complexity of the field of interaction within which we live. Regarding our life as human beings, the Buddha began by saying that the key mark of our life is suffering, birth, old age, sickness, and death. That is to say, for us, suffering is normal. So if we have a sense that suffering is not an accident, but it is built into our dualistic perception, then we can remain more calm whatever occurs. Because when politicians and dictators behave badly and we think, how could they do that? The answer is very easily. They believe that they are able to take whatever they want. I care about me, I don't care about you. Now, when we study wisdom and compassion, we see that all beings are illusory phenomena without any internal essence of their own. We all experience happiness and sadness. We seem to prefer happiness to sadness. Therefore, our development of kindness or compassion arising from awareness of emptiness allows us to be all-inclusive. We say, may all sentient beings be happy. So, in general, the best protection against taking the impact of grief and trauma too seriously is to realize that suffering is universal, so that we don't get trapped in the victim mentality. Rather than thinking that traumas are happening to us, we have to find a better way to participate in a troubling world. So when we have stupid simplifications like bad people do bad things, this simply feeds our desire for revenge and to punish the bad ones so that good people can all be happy. Okay, so on to the next question. Is there any such thing as enlightenment? And if there is, what is it? And is it to be gained by seeking? So enlightenment is not something you lost. It is not that you were once enlightened and fell into samsara. What occurs for us is a misinterpretation of the stream of experiences which we have day and night. Of course, as with all religions, we have a lot of metaphors, such as increase the light, get rid of the darkness of ignorance, and so on, which would imply there is some happy land somewhere else where we would be free of all suffering. But suffering arises because there are people to suffer. So the basic issue is, are we Buddhas or sentient beings? Sentient beings suffer. Buddhas don't suffer. How can sentient beings become Buddhas? They can't. So it's not about turning a bad person into a good person. But when we sit quietly with ourselves and we see the stream of experience going on and on and on, all kinds of thoughts, feelings, and so on arising, then we say, oh, I am a stream of experience. I can't catch the experience, and I can't catch the experiencer. This is a kind of shimmering, ungraspable interplay between what looks like subject and what looks like object. The more we see the flow of all the ingredients out of which we develop our concepts about what the world is, then we see that our own grasping thoughts turn water into ice bricks. Then we build our houses of ice, of our frozen, isolated elements of life. But it's in the nature of ice to melt into water. So the function of a meditation practice is not to confirm the frozen status of any experience by applying reified concepts to it, but rather we simply observe, oh, my thoughts come and go. My feelings come and go. My sensations come and go. They have an impact, an experiential impact, but no substance and no capacity to remain. We have been grasping the ungraspable. And we do this by not seeing the ungraspable as it is, but freezing it into entities, isolates, existence, which seem to exist apart from the stream of life. We spend a lot of time making trouble for ourselves. We don't do this because we are stupid or bad, but because we don't see the actual ground or source of our experience. So when we see thoughts, feelings, colors, light, sounds arising immediately and vanishing immediately, on and on and on, we see, oh, all the effort I make to solidify my experience is a delusion. So then clearly we have a choice. We can grasp more or start to grasp less. The issue is not so much about ending samsara as stop contributing to the continuity of samsara. All the aspects of samsara, all the experience which constitutes samsara anywhere at any time, all these aspects are without inherent existence. They are just transient, like bubbles forming on a pond when the rain falls heavily. So we don't gain enlightenment by going looking for it as if it was something we lacked. But we simply practice sitting in a relaxed way and seeing, how is life? Life is what we have. So how is this life? So that's a basic position. The next question, a close family member is an alcoholic. No amount of cajoling or encouraging has made any difference. Cajoling means to kind of chivvy along, to encourage. Oh, you can make it. We're with you. We're on your side. From the Dzogchen's view, what might helping look like in a context like this? Well, alcoholic is a funny word because it's very solidifying, as if there is some state inside the person which is causing them to drink. They have impulses, some movements of the mind, of feeling, of sensation, and they are drinkers. There is a glass, there is alcohol, there is a mouth. It is an activity. If you follow the 12-step model of Alcoholics Anonymous and so on, you wouldn't agree with this. But the fact is, in samsara, anyone can get lost because we arise with the circumstances around us. There are countries in the world now where people have guns and they shoot the people who frighten them, not because they ever wanted to be murderers, but because of the social conditions. So if I am the addicted person and I feel I have to smoke cigarettes or take drugs or drink a lot, it is as if I have to. I have no choice. So the thought arises in the mind, along with some sensation, and I interpret this sensation nexus as indicating there is something I must do. Now, when you are a small child, you have to learn to identify the sensation that arises when your bladder is full. So when you have this sensation, you have to try to get to the toilet, and so you can pee in the toilet and not in your pants. So when you get the sensation, you say, oh, excuse me, I have to go. This sensation is a sign of necessity. It's the same with you. You can develop a false interpretation of signs. So many people, when they have the sensation, I must have a drink. This sensation seems to be a messenger of unfailing truth. But in fact, it's a lie. It's not necessary. Nobody's liver is saying, give me alcohol. So if somebody is suffering in this way, if they are in any way curious about how their mind works, how their body works, then you can help them to observe the interpretation they give to their own sensations. If the power was in the object, then anyone seeing a bottle of wine or a bottle of whiskey would have to open it and drink it. The power doesn't lie in the object, it lies in the mind. So here is the delusion. I need something that actually I don't need. So I have learned to lie to myself in order to maintain this harmful habit. And if I'm a big drinker, I will also be lying to other people and hiding bottles in cupboards and so on. So the problem is not understanding the nature of the self, not understanding the nature of arising and passing experience. Well, the key thing is to gradually learn to relax a bit, doing some stretches, maybe getting a massage, and then just sitting. Of course, the body makes adjustments and you get a kind of physical addiction, which is not just mental. But you get many chemicals nowadays that can help to block that brain adaptation. The key thing is not to struggle with the addiction without understanding how it functions. I want something I don't need. In fact, I want something that's bad for me. So this is our situation when we try to manipulate our mental experience through the body. So you can deprive yourself of food, going in an anorexic direction. You can start to make cuts in your arms and your legs. And when the razor blade goes through the flesh, there is a shift in your feeling because the body has a reaction. So it's like you've got a kind of clutch whereby you can change the gearing of your mental experience. There are healthier ways of doing this. If you run 10 kilometers, you'll definitely feel different. Or go skiing or swim in the sea. This is the Buddha's teaching of dependent origination. I am not an independent entity. I manifest with circumstances. So, on the basis of having this metabolism, this history of development in my family, the availability of intoxicating substances, I start to align myself with the object, with the substance, as a method of changing the subject. So in Dzogchen, we are concerned to see how the mind functions, not to act on it through the object, not even to act on it through thoughts and feelings, but simply to see, how is this? So the more clarity we can have, the clarity can show the dead ends, the cul-de-sac of these addictive patterns. In samsara, getting lost is easy. Finding your way is not so easy. So it depends on whether the person really wants to change. So the key thing is don't collude, don't go along with the delusions that have taken over the addicted person. So the next question is, there is a prophecy by Padmasambhava about dangers lying ahead for this year. What to do? Nowadays, we have many sources of media. So we can get a lot of information about the dangers which are here and now. Padmasambhava was living before newspapers, before radio, before mobile phones. But if we look in the history of our human existence, there has always been suffering and happiness. So even when life is shit, you can have moments of happiness. What to do? The texts say, if you find a needle lying in the road, don't jump for joy. And if you're cooking some rice and it burns, don't weep salt tears. That is to say, the shaping of the experience around us has many variations. So you get a difficulty, something impacts you. Difficult to protect against that. Even the great lamas became refugees when they fled from the Chinese invasion. The issue is when life gets hard, if you start giving your own commentary on it, this is terrible, I can't bear it, I can't stand it. Once you start to think like that, you make the chance of clarity much less. It has a taste. Suffering, disappointment, physical pain, these have a particular flavor to them. So stay with that simple taste. Don't add extra salt or chili sauce before you taste it. If you stay with the arising taste of grief or misery or fear, you find that it arises and passes. So the wave arises, appears, and goes back into the sea. Appearance disappears. But on top of that wave, if there was a bowl with some water in it, not so much that it was sinking, but just floating along, then this water in the bowl will continue to be there. It doesn't join the sea. It's not different from the sea. So this is like us. Everything about us is arising and passing, appearing and disappearing. But when we make statements like, I am Scottish, I am male, then these concepts become like a little container, a little bowl, and our life energy is then swirling around in it, but cut off from the great source. So the thing is to relax from isolation, relax back into the flow that you have never actually left, and then be part of the whole field as it arises and shifts and changes. In the book we made, Finding Freedom, we have a translation of the Dhammapada, which is a very, very helpful Dharma advice. And he says, anger is not ended by anger. Similarly, fear is not ended by fear. So when we get frightened on the basis of predictions or there will be terrible climate change or terrible disasters, maybe they will happen. So we're at a crossroads. One road says mobilize all your resources and try to control the factors generating objective experience. And the other, excuse me, the other is to look at your own mind. I live in a world of my interpretations. If you're not in a dictatorship, you have a democracy with different political parties. Some people think that right-wing policies are very ethical. Other people think left-wing policies are very ethical. It's clear that these are opinions. They are not truths. They are things you believe. Oh, who knows? Oh, bad things will happen. They're happening 24 hours a day. Killings, rapes, murders. What do? Wisdom and compassion. Everything is empty. You can explore this through tantric practice, through Dzogchen, Mahamudra. When you really see emptiness, you know oh, this is not a belief, this is the truth. This is not a truth which is a dogmatic proposition, it just is. Oh, this emptiness or this lack of true substantial existence is everywhere. It's how I am. It's how you are. And so, on the basis of that, we develop kindness for all sentient beings. Bad deeds are done on the basis of unawareness of the pure ground. So, we pray for the benefit of all beings and we do our best to develop compassionate, inclusive thoughts. Okay, then another question. Trekchö instructions. Trekchö is one aspect of Dzogchen practice that means cutting right through or cutting off. So it says the Trekchö instructions indicate we should recognize primordial awareness at the start of meditation so that we rest in Rigpa rather than just meditating on shamatha without an object. So again, you can see this in terms of two aspects. There is the stillness aspect of the mind, which is the empty aspect. When the texts say the mind is like the sky, it's not moving. But inside this space, there is movement. So if you have shamatha, which means to calm the mind, you can intensify this practice so that you can have long periods when nothing is happening, no thoughts, no feelings, no sensation. This is too much emptiness, nothing at all. The sky is empty, but it has clouds, and the clouds move with the wind. The emptiness of the sky is not blocked by the movement of the wind. In the same way, your thoughts, feelings, memories, hopes, fears, these move in the space of awareness. They are not other than awareness. So this is a little bit tricky. Because when you read in the more general Buddhist texts about the obscurations. So in my room, I can draw the curtain, and if I do that, I block the light coming in. So unawareness of the ground, an attachment to a dualistic mode of interpretation, the accumulation of karmic energies, these all obscure the open nature of the ground. They are hiding me from myself. So this seems like an obscuration. But actually, this movement is the energy of the mind itself. So, here's a person in despair. I've destroyed my life. I'm so stupid. I hate myself. Now, where is this stream of ideas coming from? When we practice Dzogchen, we see, oh, there is one ground, one source. But there are two paths in relation to it. Either we're aware of the ground source or we're unaware of the ground source. Oh, so only one source. I'm so stupid. Who is saying this? Emptiness. I'm a little duck swimming on the pond. Come in and join me. Let's have fun. You can sing any little song. You can make up anything you like. We call this art, theater, novels, creativity. Generally speaking, playwrights write plays for other kind of people called actors to enact, to bring alive. But we have a playwright inside us called our ego self. Unfortunately, this ego self is a plagiarist. The true author is open, empty awareness. The thought is arising. I fucked up. Oh, I? That means me. So the ego self pulls the statement into itself and establishes its position. Then it is as if you have two grounds or two sources. The pure source of awareness and the impure source of dualistic confusion. This is not true. There is one source, but if you don't see the nature of the source, then you imagine what is there rather than seeing. Like a child having a nightmare. Mommy, look under the bed, there's something there. The mother gets down and looks under the bed. There's nothing there, darling. Go back to sleep. It's safe. I know there's something there. I know there is. Oh, this is what we live. We invent things and then we believe them, and then that becomes the limit of our experience. Who is inventing? No one. Emptiness shows. The showing of emptiness, like a reflection in a mirror, has no self-substance. So it looks as if there is separation, but there isn't. Some of us have looked at this many, many times together. You're at the seaside, you see the waves are rising and descending. All the waves are water. The wave is nothing other than water. The wave is what we call a shape of the water. But that shape has not separated the water from the ocean. But when we apprehend it through its name, it's a wave. That conceptual identification seems to create a separation between wave and ocean. So this is the same for the thoughts. The thoughts are the movement of the mind, and the mind is empty. Thoughts, sounds, senses, taste, smells, all experience is movement within the space of the mind. So this is the key thing to see for Trekchö. What you're cutting off is the false ground of reification. There is only, well, you can't say, if, well, put it this way. If I say there is only one ground, that's a reductive conclusion. So it's better to say all experience has the same ground, but that ground is open, empty, and ungraspable. It is beyond naming. So if you want to explore this, the Guru Yoga of the White Eye is very helpful. So he's saying, is such a recognition of this open Rigpa awareness necessary before the 3 R's? No, it's not necessary. Because you are not a thing made in a factory. Truly, I don't know what you should do. If I were to meet you and get more textured sense of how you manifest, I might be able to make some suggestions. But for each of us, there is a unique specificity to our patterning. Some people are very lazy and slow. Some are very speedy and impulsive. Some people are always falling in love. Other people have many enemies. This is why standardized Dharma instruction can only take you so far. So in Dzogchen, we study the view again and again and apply it to ourselves very gently, not as something artificial. So the next question is how to achieve lucid dreaming should we view these as being like transient images in a mirror? So lucid dreaming is simply being able to see that you are dreaming when you're dreaming. When you see that, then you realize, oh, there is no substance to this experience. There is impact, but no strong basis behind it. So lucid dreaming is easy for some people and not easy for others. Of course, there is not one factory. You live your karma. Some people dance very beautifully, some people sing very beautifully, some people are good at learning different languages. These are ways in which the energy, the connective energy of our mind in play with our environment shows different formations. So again, with the example, if you go in a shop, you see people buying things you would never buy. People buy these things because they believe that they are important. That shows the dreamlike quality of existence. Because my mental formations in going towards that, let's say, pair of trousers, I think, no, I couldn't wear them. And someone else is completely in love with the trousers. This is the dreamlike quality of life. Whatever appears is like a potential, and the potential is realized for us individually by our investment of imagination. So to do lucid dreaming there, a simple way is to, in the course of the day, to remind yourself that you want to be conscious in your dreams. So you're feeding that idea into the flow of your psyche. But it feels real for me. I make the unreal real by adding my belief. So lucid dreaming is one of the many methods used to help us awaken from that dream and to see the dream as a dream. Oh, simple way is to imagine a small white ball at this meeting point of your eyebrows, so that when you're falling asleep, you focus on this white ball, and then in your sleep, if you've paid attention to it, it may be that a remembrance of this white ball will arise and you find yourself, as it were, awake in the dream. So the next question is, please explain dung, ropa, and tsel. This is a big question, but I try to answer it in a straightforward way. Dung is speaking of a quality of the Dharmakaya. It's a term that indicates undiminished clarity or a brightness. And this is a quality of translucence. So in the traditional example, if you put a crystal ball on a red cloth, it will look a little red. If you put it on a green cloth, it looks a little green. So this is pointing to the quality of kada, primordial purity. This purity is not a purity that has to be defended against defilement, because it has no substance of its own to be touched or smeared or contaminated by. So when the crystal ball is on the red cloth and this red coloration seems to seep through it, the crystal ball remains pure crystal. It's not stained, it's not covered. So this is very important, because I've made a mess of my life. I regret so many things. This is the voice of someone who feels stained by their activity. I acted on the world and the world acted on me, and now I find myself marked in this way. So this is experience according to the ego self. But experience according to unborn awareness is like the crystal ball. Oh, maybe the crystal ball goes on to selfishness, or goes on to jealousy, or goes on to anger. And for a brief time, it's filled with this kind of coloration. And then it's gone. Due to causes and conditions, jealousy filled the sphere of my world, and I acted badly and hurt other people. And every aspect of this is just passing through. So when the crystal ball goes on the red cloth, light comes down onto the red cloth and reflects off into the crystal ball. It is dynamic. It's not established. It doesn't come into true existence. It's just a patterning, like the patterning of color in the crystal ball. If this wasn't the case, Vajrasattva couldn't purify beings. You are purified on the basis of your intrinsic purity. The intrinsic purity has never been lost, but it is misunderstood, and therefore an aspect of intrinsic purity, which is the arising of movement, is taken to be a contamination. So every time you come to a strong conclusion about yourself or other people, or squirrels in the garden, or the neighbor's cat that shits in your garden, whenever you have a strong conclusion, oh, I've lost this dung purity, because you have injected this toxin of true existence into ephemeral, transient, ungraspable phenomena. Reification is like formaldehyde. So when the dead bodies are taken to the medical school for dissection practice, then keep them in formaldehyde so they don't rot. So you hear this all the time. I never liked my father. Oh, that's a father is in the bath of formaldehyde. The father you didn't like is a corpse in your mind, because living people have many, many qualities. So the second aspect is called ropa, which means play. This traditional example for this is a mirror. A mirror shows many, many reflections, but the reflections don't contaminate the potential of the mirror, because the mirror is free of attachment to any image. The identity of the mirror is not based on a particular formation of reflection. So if you look at yourself, you have some stories to tell other people about who you are. What you're doing is describing a selection of the reflections that arise in the mirror of your life. Oh, I've always wanted to go to South America. I'm really planning. I'm starting to save some money. I keep thinking about being there. These are just images arising and passing in the mind. Maybe if circumstances are right, we go to South America. Maybe we don't. But whatever arises, it arises due to the open, empty freshness of the mind. All reflections in the mirror require the open, empty lucidity of the mirror. The mirror has no self. And so when you look in the mirror, the reflection can appear to be the self of the mirror. So it's the same when you look at yourself, your personality, you see certain patterns, certain traits, and they appear to be you. But if we were to interview 10 or 20 people who know you, they would say different things about you. People speak opinions, interpretations. These are not the truth. They're what arises in the view from here. Me being immersed in my patterning, I see you in that way. So the more we see the dynamic quality of our own experience, and we realize I couldn't come to any final definition of who I am, then I see, oh, this is the same of other people. My conclusions about other people display me, they don't display them. Therefore, ropa means to remain in this mirror-like lucidity, showing whatever arises without investing it with the least gram of true separate reality. So the third one is tsel. Tsel means energy, or it's the energy which spreads out. So if light shines on a crystal, the white light or the impure or the invisible light, when it hits the crystal, displays rainbow colors. So tsel is the manifesting of the potential of the open, empty mind. It's not patterns of personality. It's not patterns you have learned, like learning how to waltz, because it's not talking about the organization of experience according to dualistic consciousness. Rather, it's happenstance. Just what happens. Let's see. It depends. So, what is the angle of the light hitting the crystal? Is the sunlight very bright, or is the sky cloudy? All of these factors will depend. On these many factors will depend the radiance of the light. So moment by moment, your life energy or your life force as you participate in the world brings many different factors into revelation for you. Nothing lasts long. Impermanence is the simplest way into the depth of the Dharma. Light is ungraspable. You're hungry. So you take some food and you chew it. And you swallow it. And then the enzymes and the acids in the stomach start to break it down. Different compounds are absorbed by different organs. This is all movement. This is process. This is the quality of tsel. If you are used to eating a lot of chili, that will be tasty, and your going to the toilet will not be disturbed. But if you are not used to a lot of chili, then you may find some disturbance in your bowels. Because processes are always interactive. Although you have a key to your flat or your home, and when you come back in the evening, you hope it's pretty much the same as when you left in the morning, so that you can say, my home. But little ants climb in under the door. The moths that want to eat your best woolen sweater climb in through the edge of the window, because they are also living in a world of tsel. And what shines as radiance for a moth is wool. No. So every insect, even the worms and the snails, they are all pursuing what is shining for them. But when we are caught up in seeing everything as a means to an end, We want to get the product. But for the practice of Dzogchen, we are concerned with the process, with the how. How do different flowers affect us? Maybe you go to a big garden center and you see many, many flowers. You walk around and you're touched by some and not by others. This is to say, the diversity of life forms is unimaginable. The words like horse or elephant make us stupid. Each elephant is just this elephant. Each horse is just this horse. Each mosquito is just this mosquito. And the moment of our encounter with these formations, this is a quality of tsel. It's not a decision by your ego. Some people are afraid of dogs, some people love dogs. So this is the light of the situation and the light of your habitual composition meeting together to make a pattern which seems definitive. Now, of course, if you focus on the conclusion, you fall out of time, or you fall into time. You fall out of fresh time, here and now, immediacy time, and you fall into the three times, past, present, and future, progressive time. So tsel is an encouragement to stay relaxed and open with the ceaseless display of experience. So thank you very much to our translators this evening, and thank you to Pedro for keeping the show on the road. And we'll have a meeting this Saturday, 4 sessions looking at something. I have no idea, I can't remember what, but we will be doing something. Good. So have a good evening, and thank you very much for coming and doing whatever we do. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
James. Thank you.
James. Gracias a todas y a
Thank you very
todos.
much.
Saludos.
Everybody.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.